Burn live, y'all. Burn live, y'all. Burn live. Burning through conversation, trying to ask y'all common sense. I'm your host, Capiche. Welcome to the Friday edition where we do talk politics, politicians, the administration, anything that has anything in politics. This is the day that we get a deep dive into it. Um, hmm, it's deep. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. Um, Nowadays, right now, I guess America is really about gas prices, affordability, and hmm, gerrymandering maps. And those are the big major topics that I have been noticing that have been talked about all over the medias, all over everywhere. And today we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the gerrymandering maps. We're also going to talk about this big ass bike rage that happened in LA and go over that and then go over a couple of other things that actually been going. This is it's interesting. I don't know what to really expect when we see some of these stories. I'm just covering them because I think it's important that we cover these stories. Without a further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the big major things that it's seeming to sweep everywhere. Now, the gerrymandering of these maps from a Democratic point of view is hey, we need more representation for the Black community. If you're Black and you're one of these people that feel like you need representation, then you are probably for some of these congressional moves on these maps. Some people on the Republican side say, hey, we shouldn't be doing it. Now, hear me out. If we're supposed to be getting rid of racism, why is we letting a party literally try to move maps for racism reasons? And that's the main reason of why they're losing. If they didn't try to do it so, what's the word? Racials, maybe they would get somewhere. I do believe that I am under the influence of that. Without a further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if they can prove me wrong. I think it's this one that I like. Yeah, this is the new thing I like. Let's go.
Struck down a new congressional map that was passed by voters last month. Democrats have proposed a new map with the hopes of flipping 4 Republican-held House seats, and this is the latest battle in what's become this nationwide redistricting war. CNN's Arlette Saenz is here in the Situation Room. And Arlette, this is a big blow to Democrats.
Yeah, it really is. Democrats had been hoping to shore up their efforts to try to reclaim the majority, but this ruling from Virginia's state Supreme Court is a significant derailment of those Democratic plans. Now, the Virginia state Supreme Court ruled that the creation of this referendum that happened last month violated the state's constitution. Our team is still reading through this opinion, but this certainly will be a major setback for Democrats going forward. Democrats had drawn this map hoping to create an additional 4 seats for Democrats in next year's Congress. They had kind of sliced up the more Democratic suburban areas of the Washington, D.C. area to make these districts that pinwheeled out into more rural areas. But now, for the time being, this is prevented from going forward. This is made even more.
The thing about this, and I've been listening, I've been doing a lot of research, is like I said in the beginning, if you was doing these maps to represent Democrats, because Democrats are moving towards Virginia. Is a lot of Democrats moving towards Virginia? Are they really getting represented up there? If that's the case, then I'm with it. It makes sense. Let's go. Let's move. Let's move this movement, right? But I don't really think that these guys are really for the representation. From my understanding, a lot of people have been moving to red states. So, and it is a little confusing because if you're moving to red states, are you still Democratic by voting or not? So Democrats are moving to red states, so that kind of would change the red states a little bit more bluer because you have people. But then the thing is, why are you moving to these red states and these red areas, these red districts? Not to turn them blue, no, because you're trying to get away from what you did not like.
Complicated by the fact that we have seen so many Republican states swiftly moving over the last week to redraw their maps. We've seen Florida and Tennessee pass measures to try to draw their maps and gain more Republican seats. There are other efforts underway in Louisiana, Alabama, and South Carolina as well. And so that really can potentially shift the way that some of these House races are going to look heading into November. You know, Democrats are really hoping that they can reclaim the majority. They feel that they have a lot of the political, economic headwinds are working in their favor. But certainly this is a major setback in this redistricting race, as we've seen states across the country, Republican and Democrats, trying to redraw their congressional maps to to acquire more seats in what's going to be a very close midterm election.
And you're seeing a difference in how some of the states are doing it. Like in Virginia, it was the voters, right, who voted for the redistricting. In other states, you're seeing the legislature take the reins and do it themselves, right?
And that's one thing that Democrats have tried to argue is different from what they are doing compared to what some of these Republican states have been doing. We saw California and Virginia come out with referendums where their voters had to decide if they actually wanted to move this forward. And this was a very close race that happened just a little over 2 weeks ago. I think that this passed by about 3 percentage points. So it's something that Virginia voters were very torn up about, but had decided to move forward with. But then we have seen more Republican-led states really turn and try to just do this through their state legislators, with Texas being the state that really kicked off this whole redistricting battle last summer.
It's a huge loss.
But notice that she didn't say how the Republican Party actually redistrict their maps compared to how Virginia or Democratic states redistrict their maps. And yes, that is a difference. Let me get my little it won't work. I'll try and get my little blue in there. But basically, and that's the biggest thing that I have been hearing, is the way that it has been going on. You've really been hearing it from, I'm only showing y'all from the news perspective, going deep and diving into how they really been looking at it. I do have a video of just how some people are taking the news of this mapping.
The Virginia Supreme Court has just...
And I just want y'all to hear just how average Joe people are taking it. And I just did not go to the right one.
Democrats is not who we're dealing with anymore.
I believe y'all. Yeah, here we go. I just want to show y'all a little bit of what the people are saying.
We know it. We know that Virginia went to their citizens and asked them to cast their vote to see if they wanted to redistrict to get more seats for Democrats in the House. And Virginians answered. They said yes. Republicans got mad and said, no, we don't want to have that. They went to the courts. The courts blocked it. Now they're all the way at the Supreme Court. And baby, they have ruled that this is unconstitutional. When we've clearly seen this happen in Republican-led states, and it was practically fine. Texas did it. It was okay. Louisiana did it. It is okay. Other states are now doing it and it's deemed okay. Now Virginia has lost 4 seats that they could have gained in the House. Now, you know, racists and KKK members and Jim Crow lovers all used to say that the South will rise again. Is this what they meant?
Is this what they meant? I'm curious to wonder, why do we think this is what they meant? I'm curious to what brings up to the matter of why we think got my guy right here asking, do he think there's freedom here in America? Okay, let me take this down and leave this up for a second so I guess I could answer it. Is there such thing as freedom anymore in our country? I definitely believe there is freedom still here. I do believe that there are freedom. I do believe that you have the freedom of choices. Now, you're gonna hear me out and say that, hey, what poor people have in choices? Poor people you have the choice to be poor. You have the choice to work hard, to go do what you want to go do, to make money, to get out of the situation you want. When you want to go do, oh yes, I get it, there's regulations to certain things when you want to do things, but yeah, you still have the option to want to go do what you want to do. You have the option to talk bad and negative all you want about your president on over social media, which everybody do every day for the last 12 years. 12 years, both presidents, the last 3 presidents, have been ridiculed at the hands and the needles of the people, like it or not. Now, what does your freedom look like? I don't know what your freedom look like. I know I'm free. You know what I'm saying? And that's your difference right there, is how do you look at your freedom?
This is not about elections. This is about white people in the South making sure that Black people have no voice. It is about white people in the South still feeling like Black people should be second.
This one right here, it's amazing to me to see that it's Black people don't have a voice, but yet again, it's Black podcasters like me, other people out there that are voicing their opinions. We got Black people running the Super Bowl. We got Black people running the WNBA for its team ownerships. Why is all of a sudden we still in this Jim Crow era when we ain't seen you can't even name somebody, please, that's watching, please name me a Jim Crow law that's in existence today. Do that.
And class citizens. It is about white people who watched their grandfathers and their fathers celebrating the downfall of Black people, telling Black people where they could sit, where they could drink, where they could go to school, where they couldn't cross the street at. And now those white folks want their turn. I want y'all to remember something, that the people right now making these votes and making these choices in the South, most of them grew up in the Jim Crow era. And the reason they were
most of these people that are making these laws grew up in the Jim Crow era. My mother grew up in the Jim Crow era and she was a child. Okay. So most of these people that are making these laws are really, really up there in age. So if they're making these laws, it's because we got old age people that you voted into office. But they're not going to say that. Y'all not going to remember that. We're not going to think about that, huh? Okay.
So excited for Wigzorus because this is the era he wanted to go back to, before Black people had civil rights, before we could vote, before in the eyes of this government we mattered. We should have took them all out during Civil War. Then
did we really matter during the Joe Biden administration? Did we really matter during the Barack Obama administration? Did we matter? I need y'all to really think about that. Did we matter? How did we matter? What specific law that was put in place for this lady right here that was black with nose rings in her nose and all that weird stuff? What law was put in place that was directed towards her and her only and her peoples through any Democratic administration?
You have to worry about the good old boys.
It's so frustrating. Like, even just personally, I worked really hard on that campaign. I left because I am, you know. So the Virginia Supreme Court has struck down our new maps. Our new maps that we just voted on a few weeks ago were 10-1, like 10 blue districts to 1 red district. Our existing maps are 6-5. So we were trying to pick up about 4 seats. This is very annoying.
Well, we have some
very annoying. Yes, indeed. I think that is very annoying that you guys are really pushing this racial narrative, and it seems racist. It just seems like y'all not pushing it because y'all are voting Democratic. There are Democratic people voting in these areas. That makes sense to me. I am with that. But it does not seem like that. Y'all do not show that type of aggression. I definitely want us to hear this because Nick Fortes is once again in the media for saying something. I don't know if this old or new. I don't know. I want to react to this nationwide podcast.
Native Land Pod is a production of
Native Land Podcast reacting to Nick Fuentes because I know it's going to get interesting. So, I ain't heard of Nick Fuentes. I covered him one time on here so far. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure. Native Land Podcast is for the Democrats. I have recommended them to some people out there. This their podcast right here. I've recommended them to some people out there. I think you should go check them out to understand what the Democratic black minds are doing and thinking and how they want to move in the future. I don't think there's nothing really truly wrong with it. Everybody should do it. These guys are in the political spectrum, so they have an intake on what's going on. Yet again, Nick Fuentes is a white guy who's a Democrat who's pushing this agenda. I don't think he's a Democrat. I'm not sure. But he's pushing a white agenda for like the old girl said, the new Jim Crow. So if anybody was doing it, it's Nick Fuentes. Native Land is finna respond to them. I'm finna react to them and go over it. And then we finna see where this leads us. Let's get into it.
We're already a non-white country. Get a grip. Get real, bro. We already live in Mogadishu. We already live in Islamabad. Have you been outside LA, Chicago, New York? We live in nigger hell. And that's just it's what it is. I got my James Fish back. Cool. I shouldn't have said.
And that is what they're reacting to. Let me rewind. Let me put up the CCs. So where he says we're living in nigger hell. And let's just so y'all can get a good understanding of what he's saying. Let's play it again.
New York, we live in nigger hell. And that's just it's what it is. I got my James Fish back. Cool. I shouldn't have said nigger hell with the with the quarter. I told myself before the show, I was like, don't say anything out of pocket. You're repping the campaign. I'm not on the campaign. I'm not involved, but I was like, don't say anything too crazy. I'm sorry. My apologies. My apologies to the campaign. I was literally like, don't say anything too crazy. And then it's like, shouldn't have said that with the quarter zip on. But you know what? Whatever. It's fine.
So, you heard what he said before they get into their reactions. For one, we didn't hear the whole content. Well, what led him up to saying into that? For one, I'm just gonna say that I'm not defending Nick Fuentes. I'm not a fan of him. You never seen him on his podcast, but the one time, this is probably the second time he's on her. Two, he only named Democratic states that are living in shit hell where crime is high because of Black folks. And I do believe Nick Fuentes lives in Chicago, where crime is very, very high. As every day I'm doing a report news, body cam, something with Chicago. Okay. So I'm just going to say that, but let's get into the reaction of this before I give my full thoughts.
Welcome home, y'all. This is a mini pod, and that was Angela.
A dumb hoe named Nick Fuentes. A dumb hoe named Nick Fuentes. And it's not because he got the quarter zip on. It's because he got a quarter mouth. And I wish he would run up on somebody Black talking that crazy.
He doesn't come outside, though.
Yeah, he don't. And he better hope he don't.
When he said Islamabad, I was thinking
It's
Mogadishu.
insane.
Have you ever left? Have you? I don't know where you live, but I see he's got the Florida state flag on his shoulder. Y'all, before we hop into this is us having not finished a topic we wanted to get into in this week's main episode around being built for the moment that all of us found ourselves encountering, and it was with sort of the Met Gala as the background, as folks are looking great and fantastic and rich and wealthy, with the billionaires who are paying for all the shit, and we got people who can't find hope in most corners.
They are getting funded by iHeartRadio, who are billionaires that are rich, that are funding this podcast right here that they do whenever the hell they do. So when Democrats keep screaming and yelling, this rich people, they're not paying for taxes and blah, 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 la, la, la. It only backfires on the middle class and poor people. If you don't know and you think I'm lying, please do a little research and you will find out when most people are getting overtaxed, rich, billionaires, millionaires, when they're getting taxed, they leave the state. My resources have been getting me a lot of valid intake. I will be going deep dive into that specific of how taxes work, how they are moved around, and when rich people are getting targeted, they leave. Easy, accessible. That is a problem. That is an issue. Yes, I do get it. But it is happening. Just pointing it out. Okay.
Of their day. And it did raise the question, I think, for a couple of us of like, all right, like, this ain't normal times. And Angela, you've been saying this ain't normal times since we left the campus of Howard University, probably before, but I think you said it most aggressively after that. But speaking of not being with the times, there are no more whispers about racism. This dude is a bullhorn, but he also, if he was regretting any of it, the motherfucker could have not posted it, right? I mean, I guess, but I don't want to talk about him anymore. Angela,
Right. I like how this should go, because he don't want to talk about it. He didn't get nobody else time to talk about it.
No. Back up real quick. He has tens of thousands of donors. and he has
Sure.
1.3 million followers on X. So this
Sure.
isn't some random individual that we just got off. And he, for a long period of time, helped dictate policy, create a whole group of
Probably still
followers
does.
they call gropers or whatever they're called. He's in the incel culture, and he's a huge MAGA supporter, Make America Great Again. And
That so far, he is not a MAGA supporter. He is not a Trump supporter. He don't make policy. This is a doggone kid. He has donors, yes. He has a lot of those. But y'all, this is a kid that's hopping on a campaign, starting his young campaign career. Do you like his rhetoric? No. Do you know his policies? No. Have he ever said anything about his policy? No. Do he say what he would like to do with a bunch of people, color of people? Yes. Do y'all deem that discrimination? Yes. Notice how, like, listen to, yeah, please. I don't have no witnesses here of listening to like what I'm saying yes and no to, because a lot of people would think like he's one of a Trump supporter, he's on the same. Like, no, he's not. Actually, he's totally opposite. He's a right winger that's against Trump. People don't think that's happening out there.
I think for me,
describe
political communication, it is.
Yeah.
There are a lot of reasons we can give for why we should win elections, platforms, all these other vicissitudes. But people are really selfish. And base means not aspiring people to our country's highest, greatest good.
Hold on. I think I passed. Yeah, I did. I went way too far.
Back up real quick. He has tens of thousands of donors, and he has
Sure.
1.3 million followers on X. So this
Sure.
isn't some random individual that we just got off. And he, for a long period of time, helped dictate policy, create a whole group of
Probably still
followers
does.
they call gropers or whatever they're called. He's in the incel culture, and he's a huge MAGA supporter, Make America Great Again. And, you know, he is a part of the fabric of who this country is. To discount that, I think, is not a true. No, I'm not saying you were.
Absolutely don't. Yeah, absolutely don't discount.
He said he's a fabric of what this country is. So what are black people? Are black people a fabric of what this country is? People said I pick and choose words to define. No, I choose whole sentences with a word that determines the rest of the sentence of what he's trying to say. This guy, Nick Fuentes, is in politics areas. Okay, cool. Do we have black people that's in the politics area besides Candace Owens? No, we don't. Okay, so one again, that's a strike against us. I just had this conversation on Good Night Capiche. We don't have no heroes. You don't have nobody black that you want to put in office. You got Stephen A. Smith, a black man who's has a very good chance of even getting up on board as a full black man that you know is black. And y'all knock him down because of sports rhetoric. Not how he got he's a successful black man that's made over $100 million successfully. Has not been in no drama, no locked up, no cases like that. When you look at people that you want to consider a hero, I would think that you want to consider Stephen A. Smith one of them. But guess what? Guess what, black community? If I had a real black audience in my shit, I bet you they were like, no, he's not. I don't like how he went against Jasmine Crockett of saying how she talks back to Trump. not speak up for policy that's good for her district in Texas, not how she builds up her community and her community is not in a poor neighborhood. No, just how she talks. These are problems that I have. These are problems that we, everybody should have when they look at Black people for as policies. Y'all mistake of looking at people for the color of their skin. You'll never vote correctly ever.
Counted, and also recognize when a person is not in my league.
Exactly. But I'm sorry, now, Angela, I just wanted to give him context.
I am concerned about our continual response that somebody is beneath us or not in our league.
Not even on the same page. You're right.
Not in your league. I like how you said that. I was going to really wait until, but yet again, they keep bringing it up. You're talking about a person that's not in your league, but has just as much as donors and has more influence than you. So when you say he's not in your league, you are full of shit. This guy is doing everything that y'all doing in this podcast for the Democratic Party. He's doing for his, in their eyes, for the KKK, white people of America. Yeah, I said it. That's what they're trying to say. So I'm going to say what they're trying to say, but yet again, who is a leader? They're going to name leaders of same politician that spits the same boring rhetoric that doesn't move the needle. You would hate to say it like this, and I'm going to hate to say it like this because yet again, the Democratic Party got people that doing it and they are horrible at their job. But if y'all don't have people that y'all can get viewership on or old school fill up seats, hey, I'm having a rally. A lot of people want to come see me. You know what I'm saying? Them people that you need to tune and train to get around good policies that's for your party and try to move the needle. That will probably be a good job of an opportunity of, I guess that's what you're trying to do. Huh?
But the reason why I'm concerned about it is because it is very clear that the people that hold the keys to power in this country are of the same mindset as Nick Fuentes.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
And so I want us to be, I
18.
want us to be hyper aware of what they are telling each other on their podcasts, on their platforms, in their private conversations, because we're not going to be equipped for a fight when we don't know what's going on.
And let me get everybody straight real quick, because I read the long form piece about who Nick Fuentes is. It took me over an hour to make it through.
Okay, stop. I wish I was on the podcast with you. I would have stopped it right there. You just told us earlier you didn't even know where he was from. To where you just telling me you done read the whole damn thing, piece on him. You know where he's from. You know a little about. You finna break it down. Stop playing with me. Huh? Dude is from Chicago somewhere. Does he live in Florida? Probably. But I don't even know nothing about this dude. This is the second time I'm really hearing it up. Money Demon was the first person that really put me up on game, put me, you know what I'm saying, put him into my spectrum of like who he is. Is this guy making noise? Is he really, really making noise of where you're concerned? I guess so. But is they going to do something about it? Let's hear if they're going to do something about it. And really like put effort into doing something about it. Come on, y'all. And if they do something about it, I'm with it. I'm for it. Let's go.
This exhaustive piece of work, and
Yeah,
he
if you
doesn't
read it
leave
like
his
if you read it like you
apartment,
read
and
that
he
out.
spends- and he spends 8 hours a day talking to people similarly situated across the internet. He has millions of followers and retweets and downloads, and says a lot of hateful, angry shit.
Ain't that what old boy just told us earlier? When he said, I just want to put it in context, he's with the mega, he has hundreds of followers, he has donors. So you're just repeating what the other man just said. Hateful shit. Like we don't say, black people don't say hateful shit. But yet again, I guess I'm against black people right now. I don't love myself, but I love myself. I just don't love the hatred that we spew, period. I don't spew hatred. I don't want to say I hate another race just because they're another race and what they did to my ancestors a long time ago. And I feel like that's not happening now. Y'all really got to look at putting a leader, developing a leader. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that you're going to look at and be like, okay, this is something simple to do. I get it. It takes hard work. It takes a lot of failure. It takes a lot of people seeing that this guy is actually trying, and let's move his name. Let's get him out there. He has to sit down in 2027 and do podcasts. He had to go on news. He has to debate. He has to get in these streets and get at it. Do you have one Democratic Party? No. You sound like big old people with big ass diapers on, pooting and shitting and crying about stuff.
And made a break with Donald Trump a couple of weeks ago on his podcast, led by his listeners, firstly, following them down the road. That he doesn't want a Trumper. He wants more of him. He wants his name centerfold. And there are plenty of creatures walking, breathing, speaking, likely thought to be intellectual amongst themselves, who are giving him lots of time a day. But I think we should recognize that he is playing an old hand, that vitriol, racism, hatred has been in form, has been in vogue for white people just like him to listen, breathe upon, contemplate on. Shit, I used to listen to it when I was in middle and high school, listening to right-wing radio on AM and FM radio. So very familiar with these voices. Laura Ingraham, before folks could pronounce her name, was listening to her. And so he isn't new. He is not shiny. He's not even very good at it. He just happens to be tapping on what Donald Trump tapped into at first, which is exactly the white racist folks that are out there that have been in vogue since the forming of this country and are still in vogue today and are still in power. And he's giving them basically right back what they already know, think, and believe.
I guess my thing is, you know, you've asked this really important question, Andrew, about what it will take for us to meet the moment. And I think that we have to be clear about who the enemy is.
Knowing your enemy.
You know, we have to know that it's a fundamental of the art of war. And I think we also have to know the terms of their fight. I don't think that means we have to fight on their terms, but we should be aware of the terms of their fight. You know,
if you want to fight, got to know who to fight. If this is the person that you try to fight, don't be. Well, I'm going to say it. I don't like how this podcast tiptoes and taps around the fact that they're looking at somebody that is spewing white supremacists, and they want to do something about it. They want to acknowledge their audience. They want everybody to form together to this guy shouldn't be having a platform. He's in the politics world having a platform, and we don't like it. I get it. We don't like it. But tiptoeing around it, addressing it like, hey, just, there's many people. Okay, yo, these are the people we looking at. Him, them. Hey, yo. But guess what? Y'all? iHeartRadio is probably some of the people that are literally giving him money for the stuff that they're saying on iHeartRadio. Okay, I probably gave it to Nick Fuentes and y'all. So now what? So then, therefore, you have to kind of tiptoe around it instead of spewing what you want to spew. Like me, I'm owned by nobody, so I can talk freely. I want to talk, and how I feel is justified for anything that I feel is gratitude. That's crazy to me. But yet again, y'all, I'm going to cover this other news. Almost forgot. This happened 3 days ago. I'm sorry. But a lot of news is covered. I don't only talk politics once a week.
Let's go ahead and begin with another.
But I think this is important. I'm tripping.
Update to the Bay Bridge takeover yesterday. Dozens of dirt bikes and ATVs tied up traffic on the bridge for an hour. And today we're learning about new arrests. Let's go on to Sergio Quintana, who's been tracking the story for us today. Sergio, what's the latest?
Well, today we learned a lot more details about not only the operation to try to deal with this incident that basically was in the East Bay and then came here to San Francisco, and then the riders attempted to go back, but also the amount of vehicles that were actually impounded and the arrests made as well. Now, in social media video that was posted by some of those riders, you can see some of those stunt maneuvers heading on the upper level of the Bay Bridge to San Francisco. But there's also some brand new video that the Oakland Police Department just shared on their social media handles. And in this video, you can see this is the point where officers are actually trying to block off those riders from entering Oakland, and those riders are riding back in the wrong direction of the new span of the Bay Bridge, trying to evade those police officers. A little bit later in that video, you can also see that they actually start trying to kettle them in a little bit closer so they can start to try to make the arrests. We understand that during this whole process, there was even one person who apparently jumped a fence and then jumped into the water right off of the Oakland Bay Bridge, the new span. The fire department had to.
Craziness, y'all. Madness. Now, kids don't got nothing to do. They had a track to go to that I understand you need a permit, but these kids need dirt tracks. I don't know. I ain't never been in San Francisco. I don't know the area, but definitely need dirt tracks and things to go do instead of being able to cause chaos in the middle of it. Yeah, they all should have been pounded. People could have got hurt. Innocent people. Look, you got your little cop over here in the cut right here.
Go in and rescue him and take him out. That is one of the people that was arrested. We understand that in total there were 9 people arrested, 5 facing misdemeanor charges, 4 facing felony charges. There were also 77 motorcycles and ATVs that were confiscated or impounded, rather, because they were simply abandoned by their owners. So this was a large operation that was taken by the Oakland Police Department, the California Highway Patrol, and the San Francisco Police Department.
Look, getting them out the water. getting them out the water. Boy, stop playing with me. Stop, y'all. What is going on? But yet again, protesting is freely protesting. If they were protesting about something, which I truly don't know, most likely you would say they were. Hey, that's what they was doing. Let them protest. I think if you protest and you want to get tickets and all that good stuff, that you protest and get tickets and do all that good stuff. Who am I to say? Huh? What am I to say? Should I judge them? Should I say something? No. I shouldn't say nothing at why? Because they're protesting, right? It's their rights to protest. Let me cover this real quick for y'all.
But first, Seattle's new socialist mayor, Katie Wilson, in the hot seat after a horrific video of a 77-year-old man severely beaten in downtown Seattle goes viral. She's facing heavy scrutiny after freezing the city's expansion of surveillance cameras, the same type of cameras that helped police catch those attackers. Her reason for pausing surveillance cams: to protect the privacy of immigrants. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Compagno, here with my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany. And also joining us today, Kennedy, host of the Kennedy.
To really be stopping surveillance cameras to help police officers to clean up your city. Stuff like that should be voted on. Let's vote on that. Hey, Mayor, hey, should you be doing that? No, because I don't feel safe. Is crime around me? Yes. Can we not be? We really got to get it together. Okay? Got to get it together. Understanding that privacy and hacking it. Now, if she would have said hacking into them, AI, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of hackers up here. Technology is booming, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, I want to make sure that we have the privacy and only used for our police force only. Would have made total sense. I'm with it. I'm for it. It sounds like a good deal to me, But that ain't what we hear. That's not what we're going to hear.
The World podcast, and Josh Ritter, former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney. You can see here that elderly man walking down the street, then being shoved to the ground. The victim was hospitalized for a week, having a broken arm, a broken knee, and many facial injuries. One suspect was arrested and charged with second-degree assault and jailed on the night of the assault.
Watch. Yeah. Yeah, I know Katie. The mayor. Yeah. Thank you. That's it. That's almost it. That's my last word.
He was released on bail 2 days after his arrest and is now currently wanted on a $200,000 warrant. Officers are
He was out 2 days after.
Actively searching for him. A second suspect was later arrested by police in nearby Redmond. His arrest came after a caller reported that they recognized him from news coverage of the incident. The Redmond, Washington chief of police is touting the use of technology at nabbing their suspects, saying this arrest is the direct result of strong collaboration between agencies and the vigilance of our community. By combining real-time technology with focused investigative work, we are able to identify suspects quickly and hold violent offenders accountable. Last week, Mayor Wilson was asked about rolling back these cameras, but her team interrupted.
People in that community who are concerned that there's been rising gun violence and that there should be more surveillance cameras and that kind of thing. That's obviously been an issue that you weighed in on. Does that change it? Does that change your perspective at all?
Let's keep it on. Yeah, let's keep it on the top of this.
But does that change your perspective at all on the issue of surveillance cameras based on what you went through on Tuesday?
So we, yeah.
appreciate it, but let's keep it on topic, okay?
I believe that CCTV cameras have an
Embarrassing. This is the mayor of Seattle. This should have been on every coverage, everywhere. And I think we was having on Good Night Capiche. We talk about a lot of things on Good Night Capiche. I love that show. Go check it out. Late nights, early mornings. A very good show. But we was talking about it. AI, drones, 24 hours surveillance around, you know what I'm saying, the city to keep violence down. And everybody was like, nah, invading the privacy. But then you got this mayor right here that's doing this.
important role to play in our public safety system, and we also have to be very careful to make sure that our data storage, security, sharing practices don't make that system vulnerable to misuse and abuse, whether that's by federal immigration enforcement or by other bad actors.
Josh, the only use and abuse I saw were those two wastes of flesh that attacked an elderly man. And when she talks about who they are trying to protect, I'm not quite sure why protection of her constituents isn't A, a priority, or B, on the agenda, as her staff said.
Yeah, this is
the scrutiny that we're looking at, y'all. This is what I'm talking about when we're looking at people that we put in the place as lawmaker. This is who the podcast, Nation podcast, was talking about. Racist white people we putting in the office to do with their job. But yet again, I bet you we have a podcast to them about drones and cameras in your cities protecting you. You're not gonna like that. You're gonna think you're wrong for that. We're having a bad day. No. You don't want drones protecting you. But yet again, I got homeless outside my crib. I live in a nice neighborhood. I live close to the strips. I have a lot of tourists around my neighborhood. Why would I want my neighborhood trash? You know what I'm saying? I'm in walking distance of a lot of things. I would like to walk, you know what I'm saying, get good exercise to, you know what I'm saying, a little central places without stepping in filth. I think that's reasonable. I don't know if that's reasonable for y'all, but I think that's reasonable for anywhere possible. And if there's technology or something out there that can pervade that, then we don't need it. But something can help us lead into this and do this the correct way. I think that's what we should do. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's just something that's more sourceable for us. Yet again, we got mayors, and she's not probably the only mayor. She's the only one that just made a big humiliation self of herself about the situation. She shouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? You want to kind of keep it clean. I do got this one debate. I'm going to save it for later for some people. Yet again, y'all, Fridays, politics, news, Trumps, and things that are going down. Thursday, court cases, cop cams, gaming on Wednesdays, Saturday, Nene's Capiche. Get ready for it. New episodes are coming soon. With that, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anytime that you're watching this. I appreciate it. Know your politics, y'all. Have a good day.